What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here, coach of your Montreal Milotic and the commissioner of the Ocean League. Now, many of you guys know that the Ocean League is a league that I run in my Discord server, the Ocean. It is a league that has 3 different divisions. We have D1, D2, and D3. And the way it's supposed to work is it's meant to be a way to help people who don't have the means to get into a league find the league. So because of that, we have 3 different divisions. Our Division 1 is mostly for people who have a bit more experience, but still have a bit of trouble finding a way to get into leagues. D2 is about the middle tier, and then D3 is for people who they're not very experienced, maybe it's their first league, and then there's, well, D3 who kind of get a lot of experience and they kind of create friends. And the people who were in D3 last year, they went and created their own league, and honestly became a really big success. And I made it a point to myself and to the rest of the coaches in D1 last season. What I did was I did a draft recap for everyone in the league. I basically went over everyone's team and gave my opinions on it. And then for, I believe, a week 1 only I did a weekly recap, but it became very, very difficult to keep up with all that, all 8 games, plus do all of my own stuff and stay on top of schoolwork and work. So I felt like I should kind of pull back on that, so I did. But the way this league works is it's basically a promotion relegation system. So the best record from Division 1 will have the opportunity to move up to, best record from Division 2 will have the opportunity to move up to Division 1, and the worst record will have the chance to move down. Also, the champion will always get a spot up in the next division. So we had, I think, one champion decide not to come back, one champion decide to actually stay in their division, and the other champion, the champion of D1, Newman, he actually played us, and that's what's going to happen. The winner of Division 1 will play us. I use a random roster that you're going to see here, and they use their roster they won their title with, and we're going to see how it goes. And yeah, so it's really cool. We had a recap and we had that game go up, but this video is not about that. This video is about the draft and how I think it went, and just me analyzing all the different teams, giving you guys my opinions on it. And this is really useful for the players in D1 who want to know what I think of their draft. They've been asking for it for a while, and I mean, I finally got back from vacation. I have some time to record. I've literally recorded like 10 videos just today. So yeah, I've got to get it done. But we'll kind of get started with it. So the way this draft works is there are Ubers in this draft. There are S tiers. So we have stuff like Mega Latios, Ash Ninja, we have, what else do we have? We have Magirna, we have Tapu Lele, we have, what else is there? Oh my god, I'm trying to think. Mega Latias, Protein Greninja, like, you get the point. There's a ton of really busted stuff, but no one is it's not mandatory to draft a S tier. It's also not mandatory to draft an S tier Mega. It's up to you, because they do cost a little bit more. I'm gonna double check. I believe S tiers cost 220 points and S tier Megas cost 40 points. So you can, in theory, pick up both. So if you'll get an S tier and an S tier Mega, you have 140 points left to spend on 3 Pokemon, which means you can't take a tier 3, meaning you have to take at least, you have to take 2 tier 5s and a tier 4. That's it. So I think that's a fair way of going about it for people who do want to draft S tiers and people who don't want them. It also makes it so that S tiers and Ubers, you have to rush to pick them and pick them up quickly. If I'm trying to, yeah, I can't talk today. I've been talking too much. Anyways, let's get into it. So we're gonna start off with the first coach, 1 tier left, the Toronto Torterras, right over here. So Toronto Torterras, they have a team of Infernape, Magnezone, Tentacruel, Lycanroc Dusk, Ditto, Leavanny, Mega Latios, Florges, Crocodile, Braviary, and Miss Maggie's. Their Z captain, so the way Z moves work, by the way, every Mon can use Z moves, offensive Z moves, except for S tier Pokemon. And one Mon on your roster can use both can use both offensive and status Z moves. So for him, he chose the Tentacruel for his status Z move. I guess that helps out for Z Haze potentially. And I'm looking at, I don't really see much else taking advantage too much of status Z moves on his team, so I think it's a good pick. Now, looking at his team, he has decent priority with Infernape and Lycanroc as well. He also has access to a lot of really good setup options, again with Infernape, again with Lycanroc, but also with Latios and Florges and Miss Maggie's and Braviary. His walls are decent. Florges, and he's going to rely a lot on Florges and Tentacruel, and if there's a strong ground type, then you're going to struggle. If there's a strong psychic type on the physical side, like, you lose instantly to like a Mega Medicham, basically. Basically, you have to rely a lot on Mega Latios as defensively, which isn't that great. Your team is really strong, though, in terms of its offense. It's got a really nice offense. Its hazards are, what, you got Lycanroc, you got Crocodile for and Infinite for rocks. You don't have any spikes, and you don't have any spikes. You do have webs though, which is nice with Levani. Removal, Florges, Braviary, it's nice. Megaladios, obviously. I think Ditto's going to come in clutch for you this season. Overall, it's a strong team. You got a nice Firewater. No, you have a iffy Firewater Grass core, but you have a nice Fairy Dragon Steel core with Magnezone, Megaladios, and Florges. Obviously, Steel Types are going to want to come in and take hits from Megaladios, and if you can manage to get in your Magnezone on double, then it's going to be putting in a lot of work. Moving on, though, to the next team, the Mage City Delphox. We have a team of Dragonite, Reuniclus, Jolteon, Chansey, Blaziken, Ariados, Mega Mawile, Ash Greninja, Swellow, Rhydon, and Spinda. So Spinda's his Z captain. I don't know why. I don't know what it does, so I'm just not going to talk about it too much. But this is one of the players who decided they're going to get a S tier Mega and an a tier 0 Mega and an S tier Pokemon. So their S tier Pokemon is Ash Greninja, and their Mega is Mega Mawile, which is a tier 0 Pokemon, just like Megaladios was a tier 0 Pokemon. So he had to pick up Rhydon, which was tier 5, and also Spinda, which is tier 5, and Swellow, which is tier 4, which that adds up to 140 points, so they're good to go there. I'm not sure how much I like the team, honestly. Reuniclus is strong, it's a great mon. Dragonite, I never was a fan of it in tier 1, but tier 2 is just too good for that. Chansey is setup fodder, so be careful around that. Blaziken, obviously, I love Blaziken. Ariados will give you webs, which is nice for Greninja and for Mawile, especially Greninja before it gets the boost in speed. Swellow is a really strong Pokemon, especially for the tier it's in. Rhydon's a great wall, obviously, but you're going to rely a lot on the breaking and sweeping of Mawile and Greninja, and the sweeping abilities of both Reuniclus and Dragonite a lot. I think it's... I would prefer to use this team, I think, than the other one in the league like this, because there is two really strong Pokemon in Mawile and Greninja, but I think the rest of the team around it is nowhere near as strong as the previous team we covered. Moving on, though, to the Florida first. Oh, I forgot to say just quickly. Let me look at this really quickly. You have a Fairy Dragon Steel core, yeah, Firewater Grass core. Do you have one of those? Fire. Do you have water? Where's your water type? You don't. Oh, Greninja, and then grass. You don't have a grass type, so you don't have two cores. That's not a big deal. Hazards, Chansey, Mawile, Rhydon. That's it. You can rely a lot on Rhydon and Mawile, I find there. And you do have a Cleric, which is nice. And Momentum, you have Jolteon, and Greninja, and Swellow, and that's it. So it's going to be tough to you have to make some predictions, I feel like, to be successful with your team, especially if your opponent has the matchup on you. Next up, though, there is the Florida First with Mew, my favorite Pokemon. Then you have Volcarona, Nidoqueen, Registeel, Whimsicott, Licky, Megalopony, Tapu Fini, Zygarde 10%, Spiritomb, and Raichu. I like this team. It's pretty strong. You got a nice set of hazard setters. You have Mew, Nidoqueen, Registeel. You have, well, yeah, that's it. But then you have access to a lot of really good removers to support Volcarona, Mew, Whimsicott, Fini, which is all nice. So you have a couple different immunities to help deal with Megaloponies. Weaknesses in terms of defense. You got a lot of bulk, a lot of speed. I like this team. It's really strong. You got a nice set of hazards. You are a little bit weak to fighting, in my opinion, but you do a good job of covering that with Fini, Spiritomb, Nidoqueen, and Whimsicott, and Mew, of course. So it's tough to judge this team. I think seeing an action will be a bit more tricky. Yeah, you know what I mean. You guys understand what I mean. It's gonna be different seeing in action than it is on paper. I like the team, though. I think if you can sweep with Volcarona, go for it. Your team is going to be really good in terms of breaking with Lopunny, with Zygarde, and even Raichu to an extent. And then you have Nidoqueen and Mew in the back just to put in a lot of work. And Mew with Megalopony is a really good pairing. I'm really surprised that this managed to get to you with a 16-team draft. Next up, though, is the Bosnian Nidokings with a team of Garchomp, Suicune, Greninja, Alolan Muck, Slurpuff, Stunfisk, Mega Medicham, Magearna, Talonflame, Gourgeist, and Chimecho. I don't know why Chimecho's on this team. I don't really know. Whatever. So that's that. Magearna is obviously incredible. Garchomp is great. One of the things I like to do when I have Magearna, I've used it I think 2 or 3 times now, I like to make sure I have really, really good answers to both ground and fire, because you need to have answers to those. Now, right now, it looks like your fire answer is Garchomp and Suicune, and then your ground answer is Gourgeist. That's it. Yeah, I mean, I think ground types are really going to give you a problem with this team, because your resists are, you just have Talonflame and Gourgeist as, well, Talonflame as an immunity, Gourgeist as a resist, and Chimecho I'm pretty sure gets Levitate, but still, it's, I don't know. Anyways, it's fine. I think it's a strong team. It's going to hit really hard with the combination of Garchomp, Medicham, and Magearna. You have decent walls and Gourgeist and Suicune both the offensive as well. Muck is a really strong Pokemon. Greninja gives you access to Spikes and T-Spikes, which is awesome. Obviously, that's Torrent Greninja, guys. It gives you a really good speed tier as well. I like this team. I think it's strong. I think you're just going to have trouble with those ground types. So if you can patch that up in free agency, maybe get rid of Chimecho for something else. Maybe like you don't need another Psychic type. So I would try and get something else like just something that can levitate or something off the ground. Like a Weezing would be fine. Just something like that can help you deal with those ground types. Because right now you get completely destroyed by a Zygarde. Next up though, we have the Edinburgh Excadrills. This team has Clefable, Blacephalon, Cobalion, Mantine, Rhyperior, Tangela, Megaladias, Starmie, Hydreigon, Electrode, and Bewear. I like this team. On paper, I really like this team. You have a really strong set of dragons with Megaladias and Hydreigon. I don't know why you have them both. I think it's a bit redundant because you could have probably used that extra points for Hydreigon for somewhere else, but that's besides the point. Clefable is one of my favorite monsters to use. It's incredible. Blacephalon, after I used it in the ICBA, I had a lot of fun with it, but I realized it was a lot better on paper than it was in practice. Then there's Cobalion, which is the mon that I really want to get to use. It can be really good, it can be really bad. To me, there's really no in between. It's either going to be awesome for you or really bad. Mantine, I've used before. I enjoyed it. I didn't feel like it was the greatest thing in the world, but it helps. Tangela is going to be really cool. It's a really good budget grass type and really good for the lower tiers. Starmie, great spinner. You have what? You have 2 Psychic types. You have 2 Dragon types. Like I don't know. You have 2 2 water types. I think you have a lot of redundancy in your draft, but I think it'll put in some work. You have some decent speed tiers going on. Obviously, you have base 150 Electrode. Then what? You have Starmie, which is I think 110 or 115 or something like that. Then Latias, which is 110. Blacephalon's like 109 or 108, 107, around that range. Cobalion's like 109. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I think it's not bad of a draft here. Moving on though, we have the Sydney Thunderous with Latios, Tangrowth, Arcanine, Primarina, Electros, Crustle, Mega Scizor, Landorus, with Sheer Force, that is, Swampert, Hitmonlee, and Sneasel. This draft is very well balanced. Really, every single week, every mon can be a threat. And I love the fact that you have both Landorus and Swampert on this team. To me, this is really important because Landorus it's 4 times weak to ice, and Swampert is 4 times weak to grass. And your opponent's going to have to make a decision. Do I want to be able to touch the Swampert, or do I want to touch the Landorus? I would have preferred if it was something like a recovery, like Gastrodon maybe, or Quagsire instead of Swampert, but Swampert does get rocks and those 2 others don't, so it's pretty useful. And I think based on your team, you have an extremely powerful Fire, Water, Grass core with Tangrowth, Arcanine, and Primarina. Your Fairy, Dragon, Steel core, Primarina, Latios, and Scizor is really strong too. Oh my god, yeah, I realized that as well. You have another 4 times weak mon there, so Swampert and Mega Scizor is a really good pairing there because your opponents have to decide between Hidden Power Fire and Hidden Power Grass, and Hidden Power Ice, and Hidden Power Fighting Sneasel. Like, this is a really interesting team. I love the fact you have multiple 4 times weaknesses. It's really going to make it tough for your opponent to prep for, and you have a lot of hard hitters, a lot of really strong, bulky walls, and I think Electros and Crustle are going to put in a lot of work for you, and the rest of your mons, they're all really good. Like, everything, there's no real weak link on the team. Crustle is pretty much the weak link, but then you have Shell Smash, which is going to be there. It's got Stealth Rocks, which is nice. It's got Sky High Attack Stat. I think this is a really strong team, and it's a team that everyone has to be afraid of. This is by far my favorite team so far. Next up, though, we have the Sherbrooke Venusaur with Manaphy, Raikou, Amoonguss, Incineroar, Tyrantrum, Sandslash, Mega Gallade, Genesect, Alomomola, Komala, and Togetic. So instantly I noticed that your Fairy type is Togetic. I think you're going to realize very quickly that's a mistake. You don't want to have Togetic as your Fairy type because it's so pressured to do so much and it really can't do anything that well. It's in Tier 4, it doesn't belong there. I think it belongs in Tier 5, but if it's in Tier 5, then it actually has some sort of value. And the value is like, it starts to be able to do things when it's paired with a lot of other strong Pokemon. But when it's the only real Cleric on your team, like Alomomola gets Wish, but like Togetic gets Wish and Heal Bell. I think it's a fine team that you have. It is. You have a really good Fire, Water, Grass core. You have a nice fast Electric type, which I like to have on teams. Your Dragon type is not bad. Your Steel type is really good in Genesect. It has great coverage, but your Fairy type is so weak. And other than that, like, looking at your team, your Dragon resist that's it. Genesect. You have, yeah, that's it. Genesect is your Dragon resist, and you have Togetic. But Togetic is going to get ripped to shreds by so many different Pokemon, and I feel at some point in your season you're going to realize I can't bring this because it's just not going to help, and you're going to really rely on the Alomomola and Manaphy, and like, I don't know, it's a good team. I think you don't need a Alomomola. I don't know if you got sniped or anything like that, but taking Alomomola and taking Togetic and flipping into something else would be very beneficial for your team, I think. And maybe invest in a better fairy type. Maybe Aromatisse is still around. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'm checking around. Aromatisse, is it taken? It might be taken. Let's keep looking. Let's keep looking. I don't see it. So maybe you can take Aromatisse in free agency. Who knows? Anyways, guys, that's it for the Sherbrooke Venusaur. Let's move on to the Numantines, who were the champion for Season 1. They have a team of Celesteela, Sylveon, Rotom Heath, Shaman, Jellicent, Claydol, Mega Heracross, Zygarde 50%, Weavile, Tauros, and Archeops. Another team with very few weaknesses. I'm not that big of a fan of the Claydol pick, but it gives you what you need, it being a ground type as well that isn't 4 times weak to ice. It also gives you a Psychic type, which I don't believe you had before, correct? Yeah, you didn't have a Psychic type before, Newman. I think it's a strong draft. I love Mega Heracross in this team because of the Hidden Power Flying and Hidden Power Ice and Hidden Power Fighting thing it's going to have to deal with. There's also a lot of Pokemon that are going to have to run Hidden Power Rock to touch the Rotom. I definitely like the way this team shapes up in terms of how we'll be able to take hits and the damage we'll be able to give out, because Zygarde is going to sweep so many things. Celesteela is going to be obliterating things. I don't know how you got Celesteela and Zygarde 50% in the same draft, by the way. I really don't understand that. Like, you must have taken your first 2 picks. Yeah. In terms of hazards and removal, your hazard setters are Archeops and Claydol, and that's it. Your removal is what? Rotom Heat, which is weak to Defog, Claydol, which isn't that great, and Archeops, which is also weak to rocks. So I don't think you have the best removal, but nothing on your team is really worried about it too much, which is that's good. Anyways, we have reached the halfway points. We're already 16 minutes into this. Good lord. Let's keep going though. The Toronto Trevenants, another team from Toronto. We have, whoops, sorry about that. We have Kartana, Xurkitree, Porygon 2, Mandibuzz, Bronzong, Hitmonchan, Mega Gyarados, Tapu Lele, Flygon, Aerodactyl, and Ribombee. I like this team. It doesn't rely too much on priority, which is nice for Tapu Lele, of course. You have access to Ribombee, which is a great Pokemon to do for like hazards with the webs. It also is a great Quiver Dance sweeper. It's a really good fairy type as well. Obviously, it's not your main fairy, being Lele, which is a good thing. I don't think Ribombee should be a main fairy type on a team. But you also have Kartana, which is a nice Pokemon. I think it's a little bit overrated, but that's just me. Pairing it with Gyarados and Lele and all these great Pokemon, it's going to be really strong. I think a really good answer to Kartana, a Pokemon that get like Vacuum Wave or Mach Punch or something like that can deal priority, and having Kartana there, having Lele there to make priority useless is really important. So yeah, it's got a really good defensive backbone with Porygon 2, Mandibuzz, and Bronzong. Obviously, those are not the greatest fighting type answers, and your team really does struggle with fighting types outside of Lele, but I think you should be fine because your offense, you do have a couple Pokemon that are super effective against the fighting types. I like it. Just if you had another answer to fighting types, that'd be awesome, because again, your fighting type answers are really bad. Next up though, we have the Silver City Sandslash by coached by TKO. He has a team of Coco Lucha, Silvally, Metagross, Gligar, Kangaskhan, Mega Venusaur, Kyurem Black, Gastron, Alolan Persian, and Uxie. This is the perfect, well, there's Xurkitree 2 is pretty good. This is one of the perfect Pokemon to have for your Z status. Alolan Persian, probably never going to run offensive Z moves on it, but you can run Z Parting Shot, which will do the Parting Shot, and then I believe it heals up your your team member right to your that you're sending out next, basically, which is so valuable. It's so good. But yeah, the rest of his team, let's see. He has insane breaking with Kyurem Black and with Metagross. Obviously, Coco Lucha is really strong. I love that pairing. Everyone loves that pairing, basically, unless you despise the standardness and commonness of it. Persian is a great pivot, Uxie is a great pivot and wall, Gastron is really good. I like this team. He has the ice type and the grass type 4 times weakness, which is really nice to kind of throw your opponent off a lot. It looks like a little weak to bug, just a touch, but you have Silvally to patch up that weakness. And yeah, I like the team. I think it's a very strong team that's going to be putting a lot of work. If you don't rely on Coco Lucha too much, then I think you'll be very won't be very predictable, which is nice. And I think with Coco Lucha, people tend to be very predictable, including me, and that's not necessarily the best thing. But you're a good builder and you know what you're doing, so I'll trust the person who went undefeated last season. Next up, though, we have the New York Rangers, which have a team of Landorus, Therian, Skarmory, Alolan Ninetales, Serena, Miltank, Kricketune for webs, Mega Ampharos, Protean Greninja, Chandelure, Mienshao, and Meowstic, which is actually both genders of Meowstic, so he gets the offensive one and the defensive one. So Landorus T, obviously great Pokemon. Skarmory, really good wall. Tier 2 is a good spot for it. I think Tier 1, it's a little bit overpriced. I know I just drafted it in the PCL, but it's still overpriced to me there. Ninetales Alolan form is really nice here, especially when you pair that with Greninja and Landorus. You'll be able to really just set up for free on all that things. A lot of opponents are going to wonder, should I run HP Ice or Hidden Power Steel for that for those two Pokemon. Then there's Serena, which is a great spinner. Miltank, just amazing, phenomenal Pokemon. It belongs in Tier 4. People who are putting it in Tier 5 in your drafts, just stop. It's in Tier 4. End of story. There's Kricketune, which is just there for webs. I don't know if you just waited until the very end and Leavanny was gone and other like websetters were gone, but Kricketune is not a good Pokemon, man. You're just bringing if you really need the webs of that game. And you have Mega Ampharos, which I love Mega Ampharos. It's a really good budget electric and dragon type, and it can do a lot of work for a team, so use it well. Then there's Protean Greninja. I despise this Pokemon. It's so freaking good. It's got such good coverage, and having stab on all of it, it just makes it hit so hard, even though its stats aren't the best. And yeah, but then there's Chandelure, which I guess Z Memento is a thing, if it gets Memento. But other than that, I don't know what it would be used for in terms of Z status, but I guess we'll find out. Then there's the Ninja, which is a really strong wall, or really strong wall breaker rather. And I think it really brings the team together because your team does struggle to deal with those fighting with normal types. When you look at it, like Landorus is going to rely on what Hammer Arm, like Greninja gets low kick. I think Ninja is going to be really good because I think bulky normal types, something like a P2 is going to be a real problem for your team. And you have Ninja now, which stops it completely. Next up, though, there is the Chicago Beartics, coached by the 14th Doctor. There's Victini, Mamoswine, Araquanid, Snorlax, Magneton, Kecleon, Mega Altaria, Scizor, Mimikyu, Barbaracle, and Cryogonal. Another team I really like. Everything you have an idea of what everything's going to do, which some people don't like that, but I'm a fan of it. I like the idea of knowing what my Pokemon can and can't do, and that I can still be kind of creative with my sets because, I mean, you do have some Pokemon that you can be creative with. Victini and Snorlax, it's a great combination. Snorlax is a pretty good counter to Victini, and having Victini there to not have to worry about that is really nice. Mamoswine, nothing comes in on a choice band than Adamant Mamoswine. Then there's obviously Magneton to help trap in steel types, which might be problematic for Mega Altaria. There's Scizor as well, which is really nice for priority. It's another answer that Mega Altaria doesn't like to deal with. Mimikyu, Greymon. You have a lot of doubled up typings though with Steel and with Fairy. And I believe with Water as well, with Barbaracle. But Barbaracle with Shell Smash is very scary, so I understand that. Your last two picks to me, they're very situational Pokemon. I think Cryogonal and Kecleon will be kind of iffy for you. One gets hazards, one gets removal, so I understand it. But yeah, let's move on to the next team. We have the Manchester Monfernos with Torrent, Conkeldurr, Nidoking, Haxorus, Rotom-Mow, Piloswine, Mega Diancie, Aegislash, Vaporeon, Alolan Raticate, and Musharna. People were telling me they wanted Aegislash banned. I think in the hands of TKO, it was a lot more scary than it was, but that's more because I know about how TKO plays. But I don't know how the Manchester Monfernos play. I don't know. I just don't. So we'll see how it goes. But and maybe for next season we'll ban it. But you got a really strong, like core Fairy Dragon Steel core. Is what I want to say. Haxorus, Mega Diancie, Aegislash, really powerful. You're pretty weak to ground with that core. You're going to struggle dealing with ground types, in my opinion. With Torrent, you have to rely a lot on that and Rotom-Mow. Other than that, what's your answers to ground types? You have no resists, none, and it's going to be very weird. It's difficult to see how you do it. You have nice cores, you have good removal, you have good hazard setters. You don't have to worry too much about hazards in general because you have Mega Diancie's Magic Guard, or Magic Bounce rather. I love Musharna as a pick. It's going to really help you out to help Aegislash like basically have multiple lives. Same with Diancie and Torn. I like the team. I'm not the biggest fan of your ground nests because you don't really have any, and I'll leave it at that. Moving on though, we have the Boston Sceptiles with Heatran, Gliscor, Klefki, Umbreon, Mesprit, Sigilyph, Mega Blastoise, Pheromosa, Delmise, Noivern, and Vikavolt. Sorry, I'm getting tired. Been talking for 23 minutes straight. So this team is another team that does a really good job of dealing with the 4-type weakness as well. You have the 4-type weakness for Pheromosa, even though it doesn't really matter because it's, well, a Pheromosa. But you also have Heatran and Gliscor, one with Hidden Power Ground and one with Hidden Power Ice. The only thing is, you also have Noivern, so it's very likely people are going to run Hidden Power Ice instead of the Hidden Power Ground. So you got to be careful for that. You also have, 3 flying types now? 3? Yeah. Gliscor, Sigilyph, and Noivern. That's crazy. I think your hazards are not going to be fun for you. Mega Blastoise is great, but you don't have you have Umbreon as your Wish Passer, but I think it's going to be pressured really easy with your team. Your team struggles with fighting types, I believe, even though you do have, 3 flying types. I just can't talk. I need to take a break, man. I think you're going to struggle with fighting types. And I'll say that because Mesprit, Sigilyph, you're going to rely a lot on them. You have Delmise, of course, but a lot of these Pokemon, they do get knockoff and unless you have a really good way to heal them up, which is not always the best way to heal them up on your team, it'll be tough. But you have a strong team, strong set of offense. Your Pheromos is going to be really relied upon. If you manage to get something that could help deal with priority Pokemon, something that, let's say something is locked into like a Vacuum Wave or a Mach Punch or a Bullet Punch, and you have a way to capitalize on that, then you'll be really good and really set for your season. Next up though, we have the Suiville Smackdown with 3 O's, I believe, right? Yeah, 3 O's. I'm not seeing that wrong. They have a team of Thundurus Eye, Ferrothorn, Donphan, Espeon, Hitmontop, Dusclops, Mega Charizard X, Togekiss, Milotic, Drapion, and Porygon Z. This team did not use a S tier, so good for them. They didn't use, I think they are one of the, no, how many teams have not used S tiers? Let me take a look. I gotta go over everything. That's 1 right here. Then there is, let's see, 1, I see 2, I see 3, I see 4, and this is the 5th team that is not using S tier right now. So 5 out of 16 did not use S tiers. But anyways, they don't have an S tier. Mega Charizard X is really strong, and I think you're going to see that with his team. I think he's going to end up with a lot of sweep sports. You have again a really good way of like you're 4 times weak to fire on Ferrothorn, but you have really good answers to fire with your Milotic is a good answer. People think that well, Espeon is pretty bulky on the special side. Like I think Charizard obviously resisted 4 times, so I think you're gonna be able to do a lot of good things with the combination of Ferrothorn and the rest of your team. Thunderous Eye with Prankster, of course, can be great. Prankster T-Wave to paralyze anything, and then having Charizard come in, set up a Dragon Dance, and then just sweep is going to be a really big play. Porygon Z, I loved using it. The Double Dance set is super scary. It's got really good stats, so you can really set them up in a way that you can set up on a ton of passive walls, which is really nice. And if you go sub, agility, nasty plot with Tri-Attack and adaptability, if they don't have a Ghost type or a Steel type, you win. And it's crazy. It's such a good set, such a good Pokemon. I think you're gonna love it. And obviously he has my baby, Milotic. So yeah, I mean, I like the team. It's a strong team. I think Charizard X might be the MVP of the league with a team like this. Next up though, we have Little Uxie. I don't understand the reference to the team name. It could be because I'm old, as a dog comes and says hi to me. So this team has Jirachi, Rotom Wash, Roserade, Gyarados, Seismitoad, Combuskin, Mega Garchomp, Darkrai, Granbull, and Crobat and Frostlass. So Granbull is there. Obviously Z Heal Bell is a thing. Darkrai, I loved it. It's a lot worse without Z moves. It's a lot worse without Z moves, trust me. So we'll see how that goes. Then Jirachi, I personally don't like it. This has a lot of Pokemon on this team that I personally don't like. Mega Garchomp, I don't like. Frostlass, I don't like. Seismitoad, I want to use, but since I haven't been able to use it, I personally don't like it too much right now. Jirachi, don't like. So yeah, I don't understand it, but I think it can fit well together. I think it's definitely not the weakest team out there. I think it'll be very interesting to see how you use the combination of your water types together. Obviously, one is weak only to electric, the other, or one's weak to electric, one's weak to only grass. So we're going to have to figure out which hidden power to use, of course. And then there's Garchomp, which obviously hidden power ice is nice. This draft, I don't think there's a single weak, bad draft in this entire bunch. Yeah, I couldn't tell you which one's the weakest. You have good removal here. You have good setup. Well, hazards, I mean. So you have access to spikes as well, which is nice. A lot of teams have, what is it called? Sticky Web, but this one doesn't, and I think if you did, it'd be a lot more helpful to help with Garchomp and with Darkrai. But let's see what you can do. I think you have a good team, some good offense, and some good bulk too, but a lot of Pokemon I really don't like, so we'll see how it goes. Anyways, guys, I've been talking for about 30 minutes. I've gone over all 16 teams in the Division 1 of the Ocean League. Let me know what you guys think of each of these teams in the comment section below. Which team do you think is the strongest? Which team do you think is the weakest? Who do you think will win the championship? And who do you think will get relegated down to Division 2? Let me know in the comments below. Also, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on the video, and of course, subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell next to my name so you can get notified whenever I post a new video. And if you guys want to follow the Ocean League, make sure to go down in the description, check out my Discord server, also pin a comment at the top of the, I'll pin a comment at the top of the comment section, basically. And you guys will have a link to the Discord server where you can ask for the Ocean League fans role, and that way you can keep track of everything that goes on in the Ocean League. And a reminder, if you guys want to join Season 3 of the Ocean League, we are not looking for it yet, but you need to be active in the Discord server and active on the channel as a way to get in. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time.